Okay, back again, my people. LFC Plavi here, and it is Liverpool 2, Newcastle 2. Or let me say it the other way Newcastle 2, Liverpool 2. But what is there to say about this game, really? Ha! We are back to being a basketball team once again. That is what I would say to begin with. But there are a lot of observations that I made in this particular game. I think there is no reason for me to say this is how things are going to be for the rest of the season. I can't say that based off just one game. So I'm just going to analyze what I saw in this particular game, both negative, a few positives in there that I'm going to talk about, but mostly negative stuff. And I don't want to try and extrapolate and say that in the season this is what is going to happen. But what I can say is that a lot has to improve from here going forward for Liverpool or for Liverpool fans, for us to be able to enjoy watching the team win games on a consistent basis. Because what we saw today is not good enough. It is not going to carry us through the season successfully. I don't even think we will make top four if we keep playing like the way we did today. So we need to improve a lot, and I'm sure that improvement is going to come. So I'll start with the first thing that I noted down: disjointed attacks, lack of ingenuity in the attack. And you can put this down to lack of telepathy between the players, the fact that they haven't played together for a while now, so they are still trying to get back to knowing what each other wants to do. Because if you look at the front three, they've only played together for only a few games, not even up to a whole season yet, because Isak was injured for the most part last season. We had Gakpo in there, we had Florian Wirtz, and also Ruin Gumoha. So this is a new attacking four. And for that reason, maybe you would make an argument for Gakpo and Florian Wirtz being the mainstays from last season. But for the most part, it is a new attacking four. And so in the first half, both in the first half and in the second half, to be honest, the attacks weren't fluid enough. We were able to progress the ball into the final third, all right, but we weren't able to really make the decisive decisions very well. And I'll come to Florian Wirtz and talk about him and Ruin Gumoa, what I saw about them. But what I saw was that the decision making in the final third is something that we need to really improve. And Florian Wirtz, for us to be able to do that, for Liverpool to be able to massively improve on that, I think Florian Wirtz needs to be to up his game, I would say. The second thing is losing duels. Liverpool were losing too many duels, both in the first half and in the second half, and it wasn't pleasant to watch at all. In my view, I think Liverpool were bullied in this game. We were hassled. We were a little broad in this game. They treated us like little children. It was so easy for them. Everything they did, everything they wanted to do, they actually did. They imposed their will on us. And I don't think that is something that should continue. We should be winning our duels. 50-50 balls, a lot of 50-50 balls. Isak losing duels in midfield, Gravenberg losing duels. It wasn't pleasant to watch. So I think that is something that we need to really improve. I think today, if we had won even 60% of our duels, I think we would have won this game. The fact that we lost this game, I think, is massively tied to the fact that we're losing too many duels. Too many duels. And also poor defensive organization. If you look at the first goal and how it came, I actually missed the second goal, so I can't really talk about the second goal we conceded. But the first goal that we conceded from Newcastle, it was Liverpool with the ball, Ryan Gravenberg running towards the opponent. He had two options: either to pass the ball, keep running with the ball, enter the penalty area, and decide what to do. He didn't do any of them, really. He decided to just, I don't know who he was passing the ball to. I don't know what he saw. Maybe he saw a different picture than what we were seeing in the game. But he just floated the ball to his left-hand side. It was actually a square pass. It wasn't a forward pass, really. And we lost the ball. And when we lost the ball, the defensive shape was absolutely horrendous. We were on our back foot. We had no time to recover. And when Wisa put the ball through to Elanga, actually, before the ball went through to Elanga, Kerkes was ahead of Elanga. And some way, somehow, for reasons that I'm not able to explain, Elanga overtook Kerkes, received the ball, and Kerkes never got back into the game again. So it made me think for some reason why Kerkes was running in slow-mo. It looked like he was running in slow motion, because the way he was overtaking, it was so swift, such a swift overtaking, that he just couldn't recover. So that is something that we need to really fix. The defensive organization, when we go on the attack, when the opponent is defending in a deep block and we lose the ball, because you are not always going to be successful when you pin the opponent back. There are going to be occasions where you lose the ball. And what do you do when you lose the ball? It almost seems to me that the players are not on the same page when it comes to thinking about what they would do or what should happen if we were to lose the ball. So we were attacking. Everything was going well. Gravenberg was running with the ball, trying to find someone. So everybody, we had a lot of bodies in their final third, and then we lost the ball. So we only had 3 bodies behind. It was Van Dijk, Jeremy Jacquet, and Kerkes trying to recover. So there were lots of spaces for them to exploit. And that is what they did. They did exploit all the spaces that needed to be exploited. So that is how we conceded the goal. I don't think it is an issue of the number of players we put forward, we committed forward. But I think it's an issue of the awareness, being set and ready for the counter-attack, being set to counter-press and limit the opponent from actually running into space. We had 3 people in behind, and I think it was enough for us to be able to defend the counter-attack. But the positioning wasn't right. That is what I think. The positioning of those 3 players at the back, trying to look after any counter-attack, the positioning wasn't right. So we were picked off. There were spaces, they exploited it, and that is how come we conceded the first goal. I also feel like there is an issue of misplaced passes, actually easy passes that should actually be able to be made by professional players were being misplaced in this game. And that didn't only put pressure on our defense, but also it prevented us from exploiting the spaces that Newcastle left behind. So Newcastle tried to attack, maybe we win the ball in the midfield. You expect the first pass to be very simple pass, to just open up the space for the next person who receives the ball to make that crucial decision. And it almost looks like the players are always in a hurry to try and play the difficult pass, try and play the long ball. There was one on the right-hand side in the first half where Dominic Szoboszlai won the ball back and he tried to put someone in behind. So there were lots of spaces for Liverpool to exploit. But he tried to play a long ball immediately, which in my opinion wasn't the right decision because it didn't work. He could have gone for a simple pass into the middle so that the player who gets the second pass can now raise his head and have more space to think and put the ball in behind. But he wanted to go direct. So I think being too direct sometimes leads to misplacing passes that otherwise might have been very easy passes to make. And that is something that really cost us, both defensively, because in that instance, Newcastle wins the ball back. We are out of shape and they try to attack us with speed and we are not able to recover quickly. On top of that, it also prevents us from attacking very well and trying to take advantage of Newcastle being out of shape at the point where we receive the ball. So the next thing that I want to talk about is Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo in this game, even though he scored a goal, I think he hasn't really changed. And I'm now beginning to think that Cody Gakpo is not going to change. So we've heard rumors about him potentially leaving, but I'm not sure that is still on. Looking at the rumors that we are hearing about Marmoush going to Spurs and also Savinho potentially going to Spurs. So I'm not sure that Gakpo move out of Liverpool is going to happen. But Gakpo continues to be Gakpo. Gakpo continues to be Gakpo in this game. Very predictable by the opponent's defense. If he tries to go on the outside, opponents are able to read that. If he tries to cut inside, opponents are able to read that. And today, I saw him several times hitting the ball into an opponent just like that. Just like that. It's no ingenuity, no trickery, nothing to make the opponent think something else than what you actually want to do. It is almost as if his body shape and his posture and everything tells the opponent, this is what I'm about to do. I do it, you win the ball, and that's the end of the story. And I think that is not good enough for a professional player like Gakpo. I think he has to improve. I don't really know what is going on with Gakpo, but he has to really, really improve. Because if you want to play at this level for Liverpool, you have to be better. As a winger, you have to have a little bit of trickery, a little bit of dummying the opponent left, right, and taking the ball the other way. I mean, you are a winger, for crying out loud. So you need to have something up your sleeve to try and make the opponent think. My next person that I want to talk about is Isak. Alexander Isak in this game was quite disappointing to watch. It was actually quite sad watching Isak in this game, because you expected him to be able to show something, try and give something back to the fans, because the fans were really giving it to him. The bulls were raining in right from the blast of the whistle. Anytime he touched the ball, the fans were sure to make sure he had the bulls. But for a player who was brought in for that amount of money, now we can't talk about lack of fitness anymore. Isak is fit enough to be able to play 90 minutes. So fitness is not an issue. So for him to buckle under the pressure that the Newcastle fans were giving him, I think is quite disappointing. You are a big player, you are a big game player. These are the environments in which we expect you to thrive. And coming in for that big money, I don't expect you are already used to the Premier League. You know the physicality of the Premier League and also the physicality of your own former teammates. So I wasn't expecting him to lie down for them to walk over him. And I think that is what he did. They just walked over him. It was so easy for them to defend him. And he was making mistakes here and there, underhit passes, misplaced passes, just falling down easily. It was something pretty awful to watch. So I think if Isak is going to do well at Liverpool, he needs to have that Sierran mentality, that kind of Luis Suarez mentality. If he doesn't get that, he can't survive at Liverpool. That is something that I have to say right now. If he tries to be a gentleman, you can't be a gentleman as a Liverpool forward. No. You have to fight. You have to put in the fight. You have to be dirty. You have to knock people off. Even if they haven't really done anything wrong to you. You have to be the bad guy. And Isak hasn't really shown that. And that is why I think he struggled today against the crowd. And he made the crowd win. And that is something that we can't accept. Nobody should be able to accept that as from a Liverpool forward. Rowan Gumoha and Florian Wirtz. Now I come back to my point that I made earlier. And I think Rowan Gumoha and Florian Wirtz today were absolutely atrocious. They were disappointing today. I'm not saying that is how it is going to be going forward, but they really have to improve, especially Florian Wirtz. Rowan Gumoha on the right-hand side, for me, it is not going to work. And we should stop doing that experiment. He's not going to work on the right. Put Munoz on the right. That is fine. You can put Luis Kumas on the right. That is fine. But Rowan Gumoha has to be on the left-hand side. I think that experiment should stop right now. Kumas coming on for that last 10, 12 minutes, I think he did far better than Gumoha and Florian Wirtz combined. And that is not a good look for both players. In Gumoha, last season, we made a lot of noise and asked Arne Slot to keep starting you, to give you time. on the field. Now you have it. And I'm sure Andoni Raiola is going to continue to give you time on the pitch, but you really have to deliver. This is Liverpool. It is a big team. The expectations are huge. And you can't expect to have it easy against Premier League opponents, to try and do leg overs and dribble them easily. No. Even if you succeed in doing your leg overs, after you hit the ball, you knock the ball past them, they are not going to allow you to run. They are going to block you. So you have to be smart. And I think he needs to be really mature. I don't know, but at his age, we are comparing him to people like Lamine Yamal and other youngsters in the game. And I don't think he's at that level. He's not at that level. He needs to really mature. Age is not really a factor unless you are not good enough. If you are good enough, age doesn't really matter. So he needs to show that. Rio Ngumoa needs to show that he's actually good enough to play in this Liverpool team. His age shouldn't be an excuse for him. We are not going to, we can't sit down and allow you to and try and give excuses and say that you are a young guy, so you are going to develop into something different. You need to show now that you are ready to start as a Liverpool player or even come from the bench and make an impact. So that is Rio Ngumoa. So to end my video, I think there's positives in this game. The first positive is that we did not lose the game in the last minute. Liverpool were able to win the game through a penalty. And as I said, Victor Munoz and Luis Kumas, I think they coming from the bench had a really, really big impact on the game. The penalty was struck home by, of course, the new vice captain of Liverpool, Dominic Szoboszlai. It was an excellent penalty. Nothing the goalkeeper could do about it. You knew where he was going to hit the ball. You knew the direction the ball was going to go. It was always going to go on the keeper's right. I knew that even before the referee whistled for the penalty. I knew that whenever Liverpool have a penalty and it is Dominic Szoboszlai, he's going on the keeper's right. But how do you save it? That is a problem. That is the question. The big question for the day is, how do you save Dominic Szoboszlai's penalty, even though you know he's going to go on the right? So Dominic Szoboszlai slotted it home excellently, convincingly. No chance for the goalkeeper to save that. And that is how you strike a penalty. So Liverpool, now we need to know, as Liverpool fans, the whole team, the players themselves, and I'm sure the manager is going to keep hitting on this, that it is going to take time. From now till probably December, thereabout, it's going to be like this. It's going to be ups and downs. And we really need to get through this. But I do believe that after we've gone through the first few months of the season, Liverpool are going to come good. We are going to be able to string together some consistency in terms of winning and playing well. But it needs time, and a lot of improvements are needed to be able to get there. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you are new here. Also share the video if you can. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. You never walk alone. See ya.